Good morning. This is Black Crow Walking coming to you from Australia, and my special guest today is Sylvia Burgess.
Good morning.
And we're discussing A Course of Love by Mari Perron, and we're up to chapter 31 today, and it's an exciting chapter. It's called The Nature of the Mind. So we're going to address what the mind is all about today. And I've invited Sylvia to read it for us, so away you go, Sylvia.
The nature of the mind. There is only one mind, just as there is only one will. This you are afraid of, as you believe this statement threatens your independence, something you consider a state of being to be highly prized. This statement, however, more rightly confirms your interdependence and your wholeness. The idea of sharing one heart, one heartbeat, one love, is not so unacceptable to you as the idea of sharing one mind. Your thoughts, you feel, are your own private and sacrosanct. These highly guarded and regarded thoughts are what A Course in Miracles calls body thoughts. Distinctions are made in many religions and philosophies that separate thought as dictated by the body from a thought of a higher order or spiritual thought. Thoughts related to your personal self and the laws of the body, such as those of survival, are not the thoughts of the true self. This is the clarification that needs to be made for some of you to fully let go of your fear of the shared thought system of unity.
Let's read number 13 and number 3 as well.
How silly it is to be afraid of the truth. Fear of the truth is like fear of the impossible being possible, like the fear of death. It is the product of upside-down thinking.
Yeah, can I just pull that to pieces a little bit? There's only one mind. What's your reaction when we say that there's only one mind? And why is there only one? So it depends on whether you're finite or infinite. If you believe in your infiniteness, your eternal being, everything has the same energy. Everything is. Everything is just that, you know. But when we think of ourselves as a finite being, then our personality and our egoic mind are afraid of death. And sometimes we're even afraid of birth. I know quite a few people who've come in here to this lifetime and haven't wanted to be here their whole life. So there is only one mind means that you are acknowledging that collective consciousness is living through you. Any thoughts on that?
I find union and unity to be like, well, sometimes when I'm gazing up into the sky, I can get a faint glimpse of it. But as far as having it exist in my whole daily life, day to day, I operate entirely on individuality and individual selves all around me. So to keep on working on this is my goal, to keep on seeking, going out in the night and looking at the night sky and looking at the sea and being in the bush and being in places where one doesn't feel that one's individuality is so sacred and sacrosanct and important.
Maybe once you've done that, you can transfer that process onto human beings and see the infinite in every human being as well. So they're not their personality, they're not their acting out, they're not their behaviour, they're not their egoic mind. They are simply one mind experiencing life in form. And this you are afraid of, as you believe this statement threatens your independence, something you consider to be a state of being to be highly prized. You're independent. Yeah, we fought for it, didn't we? We fight for it every day. We fight for it from the time we are born. I know 2-year-olds that are really fighting for their independence. And that's what the terrible twos came from, was their need to express their individuality. So we do it right from birth. And we're trained to think for ourselves and be in a state of developing our personality. And sometimes that goes a bit haywire when we aren't focused on love. So where there's a fear there. There's a fear of losing that identity, that personality, that statement that says, this is who I am, look at me. All right, so the idea of sharing one heart, one heartbeat, one love is not so unacceptable to you as the idea of sharing one mind. Why is that? Is it the mind that's saying that? Is it the mind that's saying it's not acceptable to have one mind, and yet the mind can accept that we have one heart, one love, one sharing of heart and love? Your thoughts, you feel, are your own private and sacrosanct. Is that how you say it? Sacrosanct?
Sacrosanct.
Sacrosanct. It's highly guarded and regarded thought, what the Course in Miracles calls body thoughts. Distinctions are made in many religions and philosophies that separate thought as dictated by the body and from thought of a higher or spiritual thought. So what is a spiritual thought? And what is it? How is it different from a body thought? For me, Sylvia, I know when I'm not in my heart. And I've got this little saying in my head now that says, what does your heart say? And that brings me right back to sitting and feeling and feeling into and waiting for the answers to come, or just being still and silent and letting those answers arise in me. Whereas when my head tries to figure it out, I can spend days rolling around in the same thing over and over and over, because I'm letting my mind dictate. I'm letting my mind think that it is capable of solving all my problems, whereas in actual fact it causes most of them. Did you want to say something?
Well, I liked what you said about pausing and thinking, what does my heart think, or what does my heart say? Because I think I'll do that. I think I'll do a lot more of that. I think I'll find myself in some sort of quandary and think, what does my heart feel about this? And be more calm and be more still and wait.
And I noticed you sat back then, so it was a sort of, that's what the heart does. It makes you sit back and relax and just feel into it, rather than
problem solver.
Yeah. I remember one day when I was a younger woman, I was trying to open a business, and I was running around and just like frantically trying to solve business problems, that were arising for me. And I was so exhausted after 3 days of trying to sort out these problems. I just laid down on the lounge room floor and I put the music on, and I just drifted with the music. And like within 10 minutes, I had the answers to everything that I was trying to find out.
Right.
So yeah, that stillness and silence is the quick path. Otherwise, we roll around in things for days. Thoughts related to your personal self and the laws of the body, such as those of survival, are not thoughts of the true self. This is the clarification that needs to be made for some of you to fully let go of your fear of the shared thought system of unity. How silly is it to be afraid of the truth? And yet we are, aren't we? We're terrified of the truth. We're terrified that somebody's going to tell us the truth.
Hello, you're gone.
Yeah, that's right. So fear of the truth is like a fear of the impossible being possible. Like the fear of death, it is the product of the upside down thinking. Because we don't die. We're infinite beings. We're here eternally. What dies is our physical body. It's certainly not this essence of divine love that is within us. It's eternal, and it's incapable of being born or dying. All right. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you, Crow.
And we've enjoyed this morning with you, and I hope that you get something out of today's reading. Bye for now.